Hello, my name is Frida, and I'm going to be painting you today. But before I do, let me simply massage my back a little. It's killing me. Accident I had a long time ago gave me extreme and chronic back pain. But that's not important to you. What's important is the art I'm going to be making of you. Now, keep still. I want to measure out your face. Oh, this pen? A friend of mine gave it to me. She's European or something. She came from England. She gave it to me, so that's what I called it. It's an odd-looking pen, isn't it? But works wonders for me. Okay. Now, pose for me. A little less, please. Look more natural. Okay. Excellent. I'm going to be drawing you now. Okay. Simply keep very still. Diego? He's in at the moment. He's probably having an affair with another woman, maybe my sister, considering how that has happened. Oh yes, he's had an affair with my sister. But who knows? Let me simply... Well, we have an open relationship. I knew that he was the man that he was from the very start. I knew that he was going to be very problematic, and that he believes that fidelity doesn't correspond with physiological loyalty that most people believe it does. It corresponds with the heart, and his heart, I do know, belongs to me as mine does to him, but in all honesty, the physiological aspect of it is most certainly important within the marriage, because it gets very complicated when it's not. So, Diego is Diego, and he'll have all the affairs with the women that he wants, just like I'll have all the affairs with the men and women that I want. Such as Josephine Baker and Dolores de Rio. Not to kiss and tell, but yeah, I did have an affair with both. Yeah, Dolores de Rio, the now American actress, she was a Mexican actress, as everyone knows, but she became famous in America, and that's great for her. Diego's famous in America too. We went to this one gala in New York, and it was an industrial jungle, and over there it was a world that I had never seen before, and I'll keep still. I simply want to see how the light is shining there. Okay, seems alright. But yes, it was an industrial jungle really, and of course Diego had all of his choice in women, but I don't want to talk about Diego anymore. What I do want to talk about is Leon Tronsky, who is also staying within my residence. I could tell that you were part of the Communist Party when I saw you. It's always nice to have a comrade every now and then. Yes, but we must keep it quiet. No one must know that Tronsky is here. If they do, he has many enemies all over the place. He is here because he is far away from both the Americans and the Russians, and so it's a safe place. Diego and I are loyal followers of his work, along with the communist work in itself. The Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx, the entire party itself. We're big fans, and we're very devoted to the work, hence why we are housing and sheltering Leon at the moment. But his work is truly remarkable. He's been diligent at it since he got here. It's something very admirable. Simply, I usually can't get the second eye very well. It's something that I've always faltered on. I simply want to get that better. Let me simply measure your eye. Okay. And then simply measure this eye. seems that this eye seems a little wider than the other eye. Let me simply make a note of that. All right. Oh, he's been doing very well. His wife and I, well, his wife primarily has been cooking and cleaning for him, and Diego and I have been, well, mostly I have been, entertaining him and keeping an eye on him. Diego likes discussing politics, while I enjoy discussing politics as well, but also art and other, other facets of life that should be taken into consideration. Your eyelashes seem a little long. That's very nice. Typically, boys do have long eyelashes, and girls typically don't, which is incredibly frustrating. But, c'est la vie. That is French. Josephine Baker is French. I learned a lot from Josephine Baker. She was a very nice gal, to say the least. And Dolores de Rio was also, she was alright. I mean, you know how the Hollywood actresses are. They fancy themselves as divas when they haven't worked a single day to prove their legendary status within Hollywood. You can call yourself an actress, but if you haven't proven yourself, then you don't have the audacity of being diva-esque. Even divas who deserve to be divas aren't divas, such as, who's a great actress of the day? Who wasn't a diva? Can't think of any. Most actresses are divas, but they deserve to be divas. For instance, Joan Crawford, Betty Davis, Eva Gardner. Oh, Grace Kelly. I don't believe Grace Kelly is a diva. Yeah, most are divas nowadays. It's quite sad. Just because you're good at art or something doesn't mean you deserve the world. And most people think they deserve everything. No. I am trying out a new drawing skill, or a new drawing technique. Diego says that I often paint a little too close to heart, and I don't want anyone to see my heart. And don't this. I'm going to be drawing a little more macabre today, because he does say I draw macabre typically. Now let me simply look at your lip. Okay, you have fuller lips than most, so that is a good quality. That is a good quality in my opinion. Okay. My back, it still does hurt. Thank you for asking. My back is getting better, but it still does hurt. And it's a pain that's never going to go away. It's something that I was told by the doctors that would be a lifelong dolor, basically. Well, no, I don't mind talking about it. Expression is the best way to go about through life, being free to speak about anything and talking about anything. It's liberating as an artist and also as a human being, because once you have repression and you think you pick and choose what you want to talk about that isn't that big of an importance, that's when it becomes it builds up within you and you just don't want to do that, basically. But basically what happened is that I was on the bus, I was, just catching a ride, and a car ended up hitting the bus, and we ended up getting into a car accident, basically, or a bus accident, since one of them was a bus. And one of the beams rather, that was inside of the bus, ended up impaling me, and it ended up almost tearing through my spine. I was at risk of becoming paralyzed, and it also affected my hips as well, and it ended up making me infertile, so I can't have children. But it almost hit my spine. Fortunately it didn't, so I can walk, in pain of course. And yeah, that was the story. It's tragic, but I move on. I don't allow myself to be the victim of any story. But that is what happened. Anyways, let me simply get a better look at your hair. I want to see how it naturally is colored and how it naturally flows. So let me simply... I'm going to rearrange your hair. I want it to look better than the way it is now. I hope you don't mind, but I turned on the light because I need a little more light to see the shadows of your face. I want to make sure that I can get a better reflection over your soul. Yes, whenever I make my own self-portraits, I tend to incorporate elements of my own psyche in order to better capture who I truly am. I believe that when you paint yourself just as a photograph and you make yourself seem just a copy of what you would get if you were to take a picture and then to add color, which is what you do with a painting, it's a waste, because nowadays we do have cameras in that can take lifelike photos of us that is realistic, and we can get a beautiful portrait that is complete with details and whatnot. But due to that fact, we have to, as artists, we have to think outside the box when it comes to painting, because photographs now, if you want a landscape scene, or if you want the picture of a house, you can easily and you have the picture of the house. So as a painter now, we no longer are confined, or rather, we no longer have the, how should I put it? We no longer have, I would assume, liberty, but I really don't believe that's a good word to describe it. But we no longer have the lujo, basically, the luxury of saying we're great painters simply because we can paint something in great detail that matches exactly what something in real life looks like, because a camera can do that now. A great painter is someone who can look inside of someone and take out those elements and bring them to the canvas, which is something a camera cannot do. That is where an artist, a true artist, comes into play. And that is what I like to do with my own self-portraits. I like to paint myself, the best I can. That makes me look like the way I look. But I try to incorporate elements that reflect what is going on within my mind and heart. And that's what I consider to be true art. But to continue, I'm going to be drawing you. So, I was working on your hair. Yeah, I simply want to organize your hair a little more, part it down the middle, and then I shall put it into trenzas. So. And then let me simply put this trenza up here. Trenza means braid. And then I will pin it like that. And then I'm going to simply braid this one. And I'm going to pin it up here. This is when I had my accident. That's when I started painting. And ever since then I loved it. The way I got into it rather was because I had a full body cast because my body had been basically shattered at the time, and I began painting on top of myself. I began painting all these images and all these little beautiful things that I could think of, and as a result I became fascinated with art and painting, and eventually I met my husband Diego, who was a very known painter, and now he's very, very famous for all of his paintings that reflects the Mexican culture. It is nice. I mean, it's nice to have my husband, who is also my comrade, be famous for his paintings. It would just be nice if I could also get a bit of recognition for my own work, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I won't fight it. I love doing what I do, and so I'm not going to simply stop simply because it's not getting any fame. Give me one moment. I do apologize. I do hear a lot of noise in the background, and frankly, I prefer working with complete silence because, as I did say, when I paint, I try to see and feel the soul of my subject. But At the moment, it is not afforded, unfortunately, and we just have to deal with the fact that other people do exist, unfortunately, and acknowledge the fact that they have a right to their existence. Anyways, simply going to finish this up. Let me see. Would you mind lifting up your neck, please? Now put it back to the way it was, please. I simply wanted to see how thin your neck was in relation to your chin. Okay. And then you simply... Once more, this is going to be a new drawing technique for me, Frida Kahlo, because I simply want to expand on my horizons. Alright. Yes, I don't think it would be a very good idea for you to meet Leon, or Leon. Leon or... Yeah. I don't care. I call him whatever I feel like calling him in the moment. It's completely alright with him. But I don't think it would be that great of an idea. I think Diego would actually kill me if I actually showed you him. He wanted to be a very big top secret, but I think he's going to be mad at me anyways, because Leon has told me that he's going to be leaving our home for Russia, simply because, or for another place, I don't know if it's Russia or not, but he told me he's going to be leaving soon because he said that his wife is uncomfortable with the fact that we are together, and I don't blame him because I did have an affair with her husband, and so I can't blame him, or her, or both of them. Once more, I must apologize for the noise in the background. I really hoped that no one will be speaking while I'm painting, but they are. The good thing is that they're at a bit of a distance, but that bit of a distance is still not a good enough distance. Anyways. I'm simply going to note your jewelry. Alright. Wonderful. This is going to look a little more Picasso meets macabre. And I'm going to be painting with different colors. Okay. See? Different colors. Now, I think I'm going to stick with the watercolors, because watercolors are often a little more simple and a little more innocent in my opinion. And to combine this with the type of art that I'm trying out would be an interesting combination. And so let me simply get my water. I use it as shot glass. Fun fact, I often can beat hefty men that are extremely large and can take their alcohol quite well in drinking competitions. I'm actually a local champion when it comes to drinking contests. Now, if you don't mind, I think I'm only going to be using a few colors. Perhaps simply red and black, perhaps. I don't know yet. Okay. There we go. And there we go. And the noise still continues. To begin, I think I'm only going to be using black and red in all honesty. So let's just use black and red. Well, I believe that black and red are very complementary colors when it comes to macabre, of course. I mean, you could really go outside the box and use colorful colors, but I'd rather not. I'd rather simply use black and red at the moment. I'm just taking a very simple day today. Today was a very nice day, and so I just want to keep it simple. But I mean, as I already did state, I don't want to pour too much of my own soul into this painting. I don't want either you to know anything too much about me, and I don't want to know too much about you. So, I'm going to keep it that way. Now, instead of water-based colors, I'm going to be using plain paint because the water was very annoying. I keep putting it in and then putting it out, so I'm just going to be using actual colors now. But I'm still going to be using black and red, so let's begin. Much like black and white now that I think of it, only with red replacing the white. Although I will also be using white in the positive spaces of the art. No, but I still don't think it's a good idea that you see Leon Trotsky. He's going to be leaving soon, and when he does, it'll be an admirable thing for him. I only wish that Diego would be so noble to be thinking about me and my own ills, but he doesn't, and I deal with it, but it would be nice if he did. I'm not complaining though, I'm not a victim. No one's a victim in this world. You're simply dealt cards that you don't like, but you'll have to make do with those cards. You have a game to play. Now, I'm going to keep painting. Ooh, this is a terrible painting, but a painting nonetheless. It's a painting. Now, let me simply... I'm not going to be needing you as a reference anymore. I'm simply going to be more imaginative from now on. But if you like, you can stay put until I finish. There we go. I was 15 when I got into the bus accident. Now, once more, I don't mind answering your questions. I'd rather be more honest rather than shy and withdrawn. Let me simply wipe off the paint from the paintbrush. And now I'm going to be using the red, so I'm going to be capping that, and then I'm going to be opening the red bottle and dipping some red onto this. Red for the Communist Party. Isn't it very poetic? Now, let me simply put on more red into this portrait. Oh, this is going to be a terrible painting. Don't think that just because I'm the wife of Diego Rivera and I'm also his former art student that this is going to be some masterpiece of you. No. This is going to be a terrible painting of you. Terrible. Now, let me simply... Now, I am finally done painting you. Let me simply sign my name onto your portrait. And there you go. Remember, this is going to be a terrible painting, and it's taking on a new artistic style. So, here you go. Yes, I did just draw myself, but in all honesty, if you really think about it, everyone has a little bit of someone else inside of them, and I don't mean that as a joke. I mean that in a metaphysical way. But then again, what is metaphysics? What is anything? It's like Socrates said. Why? Say, question everything, basically. Anyways, I decided to paint myself because what subject do I know better than myself? Now, I won't charge you for this sitting, but if you'd like to meet either my husband or Trotsky, I will be charging you because frankly it would be causing me a lot of grief. So, but if you'd like to keep the painting, I would give it to you. I'm sure that it wouldn't really be of too much value in the future, considering how no one really knows me, but it's still a portrait nonetheless, and so if you like it, I can freely give it to you. You like it? Okay. Well, there you go. Have a lovely day.